Have you ever dreamt of holding a baby lion, maybe taking a cheetah for a walk, or feeding a wild animal? Well, guess what? Those are absolutely the wrong things to do.
The main places, they will tell you that you are doing a lot for conservation. So that's the biggest lie. A lot of people want to help out. Those sorts of places, they actually, in fact, take their babies from breeding farms where they're bred, in hundreds, and the babies are taken away very early on from their mothers, and they never see them again. They go to these places where, on the front it looks very nice. They get interacted with, they get love, they get attention and food. But usually from younger travellers get tricked into doing this sort of thing, and they end up paying a lot of money to maybe bottle feed them or to raise them. In actual fact, they get a lot of disease from humans. They don't get the immunity from the mother's milk, so they carry diseases or we carry disease that we can then give to them. And other things as well, they're also overexhausted because they get used as a photo prop almost every day, 10, 12 hours a day, and if they're not awake or they're not acting accordingly, they are made to, so usually shaken awake or they're picked up and put in a certain place.
And they're supposed to be sleeping for up to 22 hours a day.
Exactly. Imagine if you just think about our children as well. You need food and you need rest to kind of get the first part of the baby growing, and they don't even get that. So it's very stressful. And they have a very good front, a very good business. It's very cute, it's very cuddly, and the biggest problem is that people wouldn't do those things if they learn about it, but because they see that and then they try to do it. That's the main reason.
And what are the chances of survival for these babies?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a lot less than people realise. The Zambian cat that owns the sanctuary, they've raised a lot of them, and they have lost quite a few. The cats really do best, of course, well with their mother, but a lot of them is very early on. Depending on how early you get them, in these lion places, they can take them as early as the first day. So the longer they've stayed with their mother, the better the chance of survival. If the milk is strong, they survive off of a product called colostrum, which there's no product replacement of that. So it's really fatty and it gets them strength and grows very quickly. So if you have them after the first day or two, the chance of survival is very low. The longer they've been with their mother, the better. And so it's actually more likely to kill them by taking them away from their mothers than leaving them there.
And here in South Africa, I've also seen places where you can go walk a cheetah and volunteer with the big cats. How do you feel about those?
Those places are very much the next step in the process with walking. A lot of the time, especially with the cheetahs, they are used as, or they tell you that they're ambassadors for the education of the public. We also use education as a big tool. We want people to know, but we don't interact. There's a way to educate with and without interaction. And our philosophy is very much, if you go to a place and you're allowed to touch it, most people won't listen. They're more focused on what they're doing, and they're so happy to be interacting. Even if they try to educate, it's not a lot. And most places they don't. They just tell you about a few facts here and there about the cheetahs. And again, those animals come from the same industry. They're taken away from their mothers, and a lot of them are trained as such to try to fear certain methods around people. And the cheetah is actually very, very dangerous around children. Very fast animals, as we know. They actually, a lot of people think they're more habituated to humans, they're more trained or tame, and so they allow more families to go in. A lot of kids have been reported in South Africa to being attacked and killed, so it's a big risk. So it's just exactly the same as the lions and the tigers and the leopards as well.
Are there any places in South Africa where people can come and actually support the conservation process?
Yes, the word conservation is obviously very, it's to conserve that wild area. There are programs where you can go out and you do tracking of animals, more in the kind of the game reserves, the big safari parks, and the Kruger, of course. There are areas where you can go and do those things and help protect a little bit more. Our project, of course, is difficult to describe as conservation. We very much educate. We're an education and rescue place, but we hope that through education, eventually less animals will be taken, and you can maybe protect more in the wild. So we hope to inspire conservation, but the best places for conservation is to go out into the wild and to immerse yourself into the wild and try to help protect what is already there.
And are there specific sanctuaries people can go into?
Yeah.
Can they differentiate between one that is actually genuine versus one that is aiding for profit?
Yeah. So the easiest way to tell that you are in a good place or a bad place is the interaction. That and breeding are the two biggest points. That's why we have no interaction. Anywhere that offers you the chance to touch a baby or bottle feed or walk with, those sorts of places involved in the hunting, the breeding industries. So anywhere that's breeding, is why are they breeding, and the interaction. There are grey areas, there are certain ones. It's very much important to do your research, but anywhere that usually offers you the chance to interact is involved in the profit side of things. And anywhere that isn't, there are only a few true sanctuaries. There are a list of true sanctuaries that you can look at through on Facebook, and there are places you can look on there, online websites as well, where you can look for the true sanctuaries. But true sanctuaries are defined as places that don't breed and don't interact and don't trade or sell any animals, so they stay there for their lives. So that's a very easy way to kind of look at it.
Yeah. So basically, if they're offering you a chance to interact with wildlife, don't go there.
Pretty much, yeah.
I know there are also opportunities to come here and volunteer, perhaps with you and other sanctuaries. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm not entirely sure of the volunteer programs at other places. We provide a working holiday volunteer. It's minimum of 2 weeks. We have exceptions to that, but it can go all the way up to 3 months. So you pay to come here as a working volunteer. We do a lot of manual labour, it's a lot of farm work. We clear a lot of land. Most recently we cleared a whole space in about 4 weeks, a whole forest area, just to build our new female tiger Arabella's enclosure, so that they could be separated. And that's the kind of work. You also make toys for the animals. You can help out with prepping the food if you're comfortable with those things. And a lot of the rest of the time is also helping out with the toys, just coming along. And we want them to learn as well. Their money is a huge part of our project. They go straight back into our veterinary costs, maybe our food costs that we need to get. And then they hopefully leave the project with a sense of educating more and becoming ambassadors for our cats and others as well. That's the goal as such. Yeah.
Awesome. And the volunteers are not interacting with the animals as well?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, if you're interested in learning more, you can come to Panthera right here in South Africa and come see the cats for yourself.